Putin doesn't give a s about sanctions, says ambassador as Russia moves attack helicopters to Ukraine border. Vladimir Putin doesn't give a s about sanctions, a Russian ambassador has said. Viktor Tatarintsev was speaking as his country moved attack helicopters to its border with Ukraine, further raising invasion fears. Russia's ambassador to Sweden Viktor Tatarintsev said Putin doesn't care about threats of sanctions. Russia has deployed attack helicopters to the Ukraine border. Video shows the helicopters being moved to new positions. Credit, east to west. Deployment of the aircraft has heightened war fears. Credit, east to west. An attack helicopter taking part exercises near the Ukrainian border. Credit, AP. He bluntly warned that the more the West pushes Russia, the stronger the Russian response will be. The Kremlin's ambassador to Sweden brushed off the threat of sanctions and boasted Russia had become more self-sufficient in response to the ultimatums. Tatarintsev told the Aftonbladet newspaper, "We are more self-sufficient and have been able to increase our exports. We have no Italian or Swiss cheeses, but we've learned to make just as good Russian cheeses using Italian and Swiss recipes." He said the punishments have allowed his nation's economy and agricultural sector to thrive. Meanwhile, civilians in Ukraine have been preparing for an invasion by learning to fire weapons. The country also faces being cut off by air amid reports insurers Lloyd's of London will cease proving cover to airlines who fly there. It comes after President Joe Biden warned Vladimir Putin of swift and severe costs after claims Moscow is planning to invade its neighbor within days. New intelligence now suggests Russia will invade Ukraine this Wednesday, February 16, according to German newspaper Der Spiegel. And in one of the most ominous signs of invasion yet, Putin has stationed a range of choppers on the border with Ukraine. Information received by the Secret Service, CIA and other intelligence services has even gone as far to outline the routes that individual Russian units will take, along with the roles they will play, it reports. Video showed choppers massing in western Belgorod region just 19 miles from Ukraine in one of the most ominous invasion signs yet seen. Similar aircraft were seen at the same site in 2014 when Moscow intervened in the Donbas and annexed Crimea. Startling videos show Ka-52 alligators, Mi-8s and Mi-24 military attack helicopters on the move in multiple locations in western Russia. They were spotted or seen in Belgorod, Nizhny Novgorod region, Tver, Ulyanovsk and Yaroslavl amid suspicions they are being moved to the Ukraine war zone. Bloody conflict still looms after a crunch phone call between the two presidents ended in deadlock with 130,000 troops on the border. The leaders talked for 1 hour and 2 minutes, but made no real progress amid intelligence reports that Putin will trigger a bomb blitz and ground invasion on Wednesday. Afterwards, the White House said, President Biden was clear that, if Russia undertakes a further invasion of Ukraine, the United States together with our allies and partners will respond decisively and impose swift and severe costs on Russia. President Biden reiterated that a further Russian invasion of Ukraine would produce widespread human suffering and diminish Russia's standing. Leaving the door open to further talks, the U.S. leader said he was prepared to engage in diplomacy while being equally prepared for other scenarios. The Kremlin said it would pause to review U.S. and NATO responses to its proposals for security guarantees before announcing its next actions. The Russian president has made the impossible demand that Ukraine should never be allowed to join Western alliance NATO. He added, conditions are being created for the Ukrainian armed forces to take provocative actions amid allegations about an invasion. U.S. military equipment and soldiers inside in a temporary base in Poland. Credit, Getty. Satellite images show Russian forces massed near the border with Ukraine. Credit, EPA. The Russian and Belarusian armed forces take part in a military drill in Belarus. Credit, Getty. Ukrainian tanks are preparing to resist any Russian invasion. Credit, AFP. A British family arriving at Gatwick Airport after returning from the Ukraine. Credit, PA. Ushakov went on to say attempts have been going on for months to raise tensions around the movement of our troops on our territory. The Northern Ireland Secretary Brandon Lewis told Sky News that NATO was determined Ukraine should be allowed to continue as a democratic country without the threat of invasion. Russia began pulling its diplomats out of Ukraine's capital Kiev yesterday in the clearest sign yet that an invasion was on the way. Military satellites yesterday detected more massive troop movements towards the Ukrainian frontier, suggesting an imminent push. Huge columns of vehicles and men were seen in Valyuki, western Russia, heading south towards the Ukraine border 10 miles away. More than 30 tactical exercises involving the Russian Navy's Caspian flotilla, backed by helicopters and troops, will ramp up tension near Ukraine's southern border from today. Ukraine is not a NATO member, and allies in the defense alliance have said they would not join fighting in Ukraine, but have bolstered forces in neighboring nations and are threatening widespread sanctions. Though the Kremlin insists it is not planning an invasion, U.S. intelligence suggests Russia could fabricate a false flag pretext to attack. I spoke with Foreign Minister Lavrov today to urge a diplomatic resolution to Russia's unprovoked military buildup around Ukraine, Blinken tweeted. Their talks come after U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said Washington believes Putin could strike any day. It was previously widely believed Russia would not attack before the end of the Winter Olympics on February 20th, but the latest intelligence reports have cast doubt on that. Last night, Brits were warned to leave Ukraine immediately as the imminent threat of war loomed. And civilians in Ukraine were attending open military training following reports that some 200,000 fully equipped Russian troops were on its borders. The besieged country has increased exercises amid fears an invasion may come at any time.